Hey everybody, this is Ted Martin, CRO over at Factor 8. Really excited to have my friends Aaron and Lisa over from Premier Safety on the line with us today. To give you a little bit of background, Aaron has 28 years of experience assisting consultants, project managers, safety engineers, and business owners in the selection, training, use, and maintenance of personal protective and environmental monitoring equipment. This is a timely discussion. And he's provided training programs to clients in construction, municipal, governmental, healthcare, automotive, and manufacturing environments, and worked with them as a sales and customer success person and leader. Lisa, on the other hand, has been with Premier Safety for 2 years. Previous to that, she was in the transportation business for 20 years, working in senior leadership roles for customer success and service, operations, and virtual sales. And she's brought to Premier Safety a start in building their digital sales team from the ground up. So anywhere from building the team, training the curriculum, establishing the base technology that they needed, to building the synergies between sales and marketing. In 2019, she actually took over marketing, which is awesome. And as of last year, they had an opening for a VP of sales position that Lisa was the front runner for. And coming into 2020, due to COVID, they had to make an interesting transformation to that role that I'm going to have Lisa and Aaron talk about. So with that, I'm going to take a step back and pass it over to Aaron and Lisa. And Aaron, why don't you, if you don't mind, can you give us a little bit of background on Premier Safety?
Well, Premier Safety, we rent, we sell, and we service instrument, equipment, anything of all your safety needs that you need out there. We are a safety provider across the board, from safety glasses to fall protection to instruments. But we could do anything with the ability to sell the product, train on it, provide training. Then also, if you want to rent it, we can rent it, and also we can service it. So we're a one-stop shop.
That's awesome, Aaron. Thank you. So, Lisa, I'm going to throw it over to you. I mentioned earlier this idea that coming into 2020, the leadership team had a plan, and then COVID hit, and then the leadership team had to make an adjustment around the leadership of sales and marketing, right? You were running virtual sales and marketing. Can you kind of talk to us about what was going on? Like what happened?
Yeah. So we actually had, at the end of the year, we had an opening for our VP of sales position, which was our leader for our outside sales or in our field sales reps. Going into the end of the year, we were interviewing, we had some candidates in mind, and then kind of COVID hit. So we were kind of, okay, we had to pivot pretty quickly on, what does this look like? We knew that customers weren't there anymore. They were working from home. They were, so we actually made the decision to kind of take the role and split it into 2 different roles. And it really led to an interesting transition during this time. My background is, digital sales, the marketing side of it, and kind of the operational side of the business and sales and things like that. That was my wheelhouse. And then looking at that, but I was, I'm new to Premier Safety, we have 66,000 SKUs at our fingertips, and I'm certainly not the expert on every single one of them. But Aaron is, Aaron's been with the company for 28 years. He's been in sales. He's done the training, well respected in the industry and well respected with the team. So at that time, we kind of made the decision like, hey, can we put 2 roles together and kind of get the best of both worlds, right? We can bring our field sales team in sync, give them the guidance of, okay, so how do I go from selling face-to-face to over the phone? Because, that's not what our guys did. We're face-to-face sellers, getting out in front of customers in training, being in a classroom. So how do we transition into that? So at the time, we kind of decided to, instead of replacing our VP of sales role, we split it into 2 roles to where I kind of took over. I still had the digital sales, a little bit of marketing, and then also the field sales. And Aaron became our director of sales, which our field sales reps actually report directly to Aaron. to kind of bring both together. So the day to day, I've got questions about products. I got, I need to run the situation by, Aaron's kind of the guy. He's got all the knowledge, he's got all the experience, where I'm more of a support person on how do I navigate Salesforce? How do I navigate the phone? How do I, navigate this whole getting on a video conference, and providing that type of kind of experience and exposure and guidance for the team. So between me and Aaron, I think it's worked out very, very well.
Okay, so I love this. Just the whole concept of this idea of recognizing what transition was coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not making it like it was a very educated decision on, okay, we recognize that we have these folks in the field, we have capable leadership in the field, let's tap into that. But also, I'm going to make an assumption here. Your folks in the field probably haven't picked up the phone in quite a while to call prospects versus go and meet with them face to face, right? So I know that that's a challenge because I'm hearing it from everybody else. Aaron, I got to ask you, how's that transition been? Getting your folks in the field to being like, all right, hey, let's pound out 20 calls, and let's call some customers versus go and meeting with them in the office or in the shop.
At first, it was very hard for them. And now they transition where they're okay with making the calls as they've seen wins by over the phone of orders that come through that they were like, wow, okay. And also Zoom meetings and things like that at first was a little difficult. And now it's a click of a button and they're face to face with the customer through a computer.
So when it comes to their buy-in, right? Like, is it, because I've seen one of two paths, right? Where there's the one path where people are saying, hey, listen, I'm doing this until I can get back into the shop, back into the office with my customers, and I'm doing it because I have to. There's also the camp that's not doing it at all, and we all know what's happening with those folks. Then there's the third camp, right, where there's individuals that are saying, wow, like, this is another arrow in the quiver. Like, this is something that's going to help me where, yeah, I'm going to travel Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, hopefully when we get back to in the office. But Mondays and Fridays, like, my days can be much more productive. Or maybe Mondays and Tuesdays and Fridays, my days can be much more productive. Like, what are you seeing, Aaron, with that field group?
Well, I see our field starting to get in front of customers. It's still, our customers are being as cautious as we are being going to see the end user. So it's a two-way street, but it's really feeling out the customer over the phone to see, is a visit worthwhile? Do I need to go see the customer? Can we get all the answers right now through the phone or through a Zoom meeting rather than making a face-to-face getting together? We do offer a lot of equipment that does need training and support, but you can do that over the phone. It's using our technology to our advantage today.
That's awesome. So, and Lisa, I'll pull you in on this. Like, as y'all look at what Aaron just said, okay, how are you identifying when do we need to be on site versus when do we not need to be, right?
Yeah, kind of early in the game. So when you talk about, how did we get the buy-in and, how did people transition to this? I'll step back a little bit because it's kind of a good story. Early on when we were starting to transition this, Aaron actually got a very, very large deal, a very significant deal for us for Premier Safety. And he did the entire thing over the phone, had never met the guy, had never been face-to-face. And so it kind of, it built the momentum, right? Because you kind of had the naysayers of like, is this really going to work? How's this going to work? We were able to tell the story where Aaron got the win almost right out of the gate. So timing was great on that. But as far as the transition goes, it's identifying, everybody's different, right? Everybody's got their, different strengths and different comfort levels of, how do I do this over the phone and now doing video and things like that. It's building the resources to allow them to be successful. And it's a lot of listening. It's a lot of How do you feel? What's your comfort level? How is your confidence when you do these types of things? And it's kind of catering it and catering the coaching to each individual person, depending on how they feel and how they're doing so far too.
So I don't want to forget about the inside team. We'll talk about them in a second. But with this, Lisa, you brought up an awesome point, coaching, right? I will tell you in my experience, a lot of times field reps, not all the time, a lot of times they're not open to coaching, or it's very difficult to do the type of coaching that you need in a virtual world. I hate when people say that, but I couldn't think of something.
Right.
But again, like in this virtual world, it's one thing to do coaching with someone that is not typically open to it. It's another thing to do it through a medium that they're not comfortable with. Like, how did y'all tackle that? Lisa, I'll let you start, and then Aaron, I'd love to get your input on that too.
Yeah, so early on, we actually established kind of a cadence of every other week. We meet with every rep, and it's both Aaron and I together, and we kind of tag team that a little bit. We talk about, we talk about the KPIs. We talk about challenges that they're having as far as staying organized. So that's where I kind of talk about our CRM and leveraging CRM. They talk about account challenges. And that's, where Aaron and I kind of provide insight and different avenues of, how to get into customers. That was a big thing when we first started pounding the phones and calling the customers. I can't get through and I don't know, so shedding some light on different avenues that they can use to try to get a hold of people and get those callbacks. So out of the gate, I would say that would be the big thing that we started talking about is, what does this look like over the phone? And you had kind of mentioned that, our digital sales team, part of the coaching came from, I asked the digital team, put yourself in the field sales rep's shoes. What does that look like? What would help you being in that role to help you be successful? I actually had one of my team that came from outside sales and transitioned to inside sales. So she was able to shed a lot of insight on, hey, moving into this role, this is what I struggled with. This is what helped me. So kind of pulling all that together and with Aaron and I, again, talking to all the reps and listening to their challenges, kind of finding out, where the customers were at that time, because customers are in influx. Some people were on their way out, some people were on their way in, some people never changed, so how do you deal with that? So, but overall, I think the coaching, like I said, we have a cadence of calls that we have with every single one of the reps, and that's kind of what we talk about. And so far, I think the feedback has been good. They feel more supported, and it's more of a holistic support versus kind of a one-sided report or support.
That's awesome. So Aaron, I want to pull you in here because I know, again, from my experience in field sales, traditionally coaching has been ride-alongs, right? Where your leader comes in, we identify the top accounts that we're going to go target. And it's like, hey, I've brought in my director, my VP, my manager to come in because you're a valued account. And, we're both going to tag team trying to show you how much we love you. A lot of times that's not coaching like Lisa's talking about, right? So from your perspective, like, and maybe I overgeneralize what you guys have been doing in the past, but like, how did the coaching actually transition and change when you guys took to this approach?
Well, I think the biggest change was we had a change on the products we normally sell today. We were selling different products and getting the products into stock as quick as we could, and then getting them out to the end customer, the end user. And the one thing was Lisa and marketing was able to provide certain flyers out to the end user and follow-up calls, or the customers calling us, and going in a different arena of customers. Here in Michigan, the Big Three is one of our biggest customer, and they were shut down completely. So you were looking at a whole different arena of customers to be able to go ahead and support and bring in your numbers for the month.
Wow. So when you guys made that transition, it allowed you to be able to to make up for that, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. We actually met goal in May by
That's awesome.
switching to different products, different channels.
That's so cool. Now, how did you guys help the reps? Like going back to the coaching piece, like what did the coaching cadence look like in the field before COVID?
I think before COVID hit, it was, again, we were kind of in transition. Our VP of sales position was actually open. So we had gone, it was probably, a couple months that we were trying to fill the role, trying to figure out what we were doing it. So it was pretty sparse during that time. Now, we did have some folks riding along with the large accounts and things like that. Our CEO, our president would ride along and things like that in the interim. But I wouldn't say it was consistent. We were just kind of fulfilling the need that we needed to do. Before that, it was typical. Our VP of sales would go out, ride with the reps, kind of help close deals and things like that on a fairly regular basis.
Nice. Okay. So obviously things weren't always rosy, right? What are some of the challenges that both teams had experienced with the process? And, we can start with the field group. Aaron, anything that you're open to sharing, like what are some of the challenges that the team experienced or voiced to you?
It's switching product avenue of what we've always been an instrument company, and now we're more of a PPE, and also we're stocking different products that we've never stocked before, and educating the customer on a different product. And, we want to make sure we're the experts, so we know everything about that product when we're sharing it to the end user. I mean, now we are selling products to dentist office. We never done that before. We are training dentist office, going in there and doing a training. They're paying us per an hourly rate to go ahead and show them how to wear a respirator, how to go ahead and fit it properly. So it's a different way of going to a different style of business.
That's awesome. And then Lisa, from y'all's perspective, from a marketing perspective as well as from a digital inside world, what's that transition been like, and how are y'all helping the folks in the field with that?
Yeah, so I would say one of the biggest things that we've kind of helped with is, just how to navigate the phone. How do you get people to answer when you call, or, call you back, the skills of leaving a voicemail and, navigating the automated systems and, kind of the tricks of the trade that we've learned through the years. The other thing is I will say, on the virtual side, being able to, as Aaron said, pivoting on product, pivoting on, our stocking strategy that we have. So
right.
One of the biggest things that was so important to our customers and still is what do you have in stock? I can't wait 6 months for some of the items that we need. So you talk about the virtual side of it, quick, fast informations, and being able to get that out to your customers as quick as possible, that as soon as you have this product in stock, you're sending out, a blast email, or you're, sending it to all your customers, or those customers that need it or are looking for it because you've talked to them and they're looking, they can't find it. So one of the things that I think that we've been able to help the field sales reps is navigating those blast emails, sharing examples. Where the digital team, that's kind of their wheelhouse, right? They're used to, quick and nimble. I'm sending a quick email out to all my customers. So we were able to kind of share those examples with the field sales reps and share the success stories, to be able to say, hey, this person sent out this email to all their customers and got 30 orders, things like that, to where it pulls it all together, right? You can share, the email that you sent, you can share the process, and you can share the results. So then, the buy-in is there to where they're kind of like, wow, that's, I'm going to try that. So we've actually got the field sales reps that are sending out their emails and sharing, and they're, that's new to them.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So I'm going to wrap this up with the same question that I've asked everybody that we've done this with. What is one win that you are extremely excited about for your organization? And by win, I'm not talking about, it doesn't have to be like a deal or anything like that, but it's literally like you look back and I'm proud of this moment that either a team, a person, the organization went through. Lisa, you were just finishing up, so if you wouldn't mind starting, and then Aaron, we'll jump over to you.
Yeah, so I would say the biggest thing that I'm most proud of that I have seen going through this transition is the positive impact it's had on our culture. I mean, it truly is that deep, to be able to listen to the guys and gals that we have in the field sales and even the digital sales, the entire team holistically, and being able to support each other and pull the team together, and allow everybody to understand how, how marketing affects digital and digital affects the field sales. It really has. And putting, some of the feedback that I've gotten from the field guys is they truly do. They feel supported. I mean, Aaron and I hear it all the time on the calls, just guys, thanks for the support. And
Right.
It's both sided. It's the operational support, whether it be, what's going on in the stocking, or like I said, staying organized and leveraging your CRM to help you do that, to the blast emails, to, hey, I've got this customer, I'm not sure of a solution. Between Aaron and I, we're able to provide both sides of that support. And I truly do. I mean, the guys are, everybody's energized, they feel supported, they're engaged. It's just really done a lot for our organization. I would say that's probably what I'm most proud of is what it's done to our culture.
That's awesome. Aaron.
And I would 100 agree with Lisa. I think our culture has completely changed. Even from our accounting to our service to our warehouse, everybody's working together as a team because at the end of the day, we know we are 100% helping people and we're protecting them. And
that's awesome.
That's what we want to do. We all want to go to bed at night and wake up in the morning and be safe.
That's very well put. And I love, the Aaron, specifically the point that you made around hey, you're talking to doctors, right? You're talking to dentists, and that's different than talking to, a plant manager at Ford, right? Like it's a totally different new world, right? And the fact that you guys, the way you're working together to make this happen, like it's super cool. So Lisa Hubbard, Aaron Jacob, thank you very much for taking the time to chat with me today. And to everybody else, thanks a lot for taking the time to watch. And we look forward to sharing more with you. Again, this is Ted over at Factor 8. Have a great one.